while of moderation, let me try to maintain further expectation. The session details has been already shared. It's evolving trends in the cotton farming, and there are certain aspects which has been just briefly touched upon. And if you look at, we have the very eminent, very diverse panel when it comes from the input side of it and linking it to the textile one. We have Dr. C.D. Mai, who is the former chairman CIB and RC, also the Agriculture Commissioner Government of India, also Director CICR, and one of the key strongest pillar and proponent of the new technologies, including BT cotton. We have Dr. YG Prashad, who is former Director CICR, Dr. Shukla, who is the Director ICR. We have Dr. ICR Silpur. We have Dr. Paresh Verma, who is here for BioSeed. We have Mr. Rajendran, who is MD Rasi Seeds, and Venkatram, who is CEO Seedwork International. Let me begin by just connecting it back, what journey we had covered so far in the last 4 years. And if you look at, the key evolving trends in the cotton farming, let me draw the attention to the meeting which has been held in 2023, which has been, it's a multi-stakeholder meeting, which has been attended by Secretary Agriculture, the then Secretary Agriculture, one of the senior advisors in Planning Commission, what we call Niti Aayog today, Chairman TAS, and also the senior officials from Cotton Textile Ministry, or Ministry of Textiles, if I can say. And there has come out clear 7-point agenda which were there, which has been just highlighted. I can share few of them. And in this session, we'll just try to see, not just to debate, but just to make it that how and what journey we had covered so far. How we make those items into actionable, because we have spent enough time when it comes to the challenges. But let's focus on what are the solutions it can offer today to bring back the glory of the cotton productivity and the production which has been achieved 2015 and 16 over there. And then, so I don't know how much time for this panel has, so that at least we can plan in that. Okay, so what we'll do is, we'll go one by one, and definitely we'll get some time for the questions, like over there. Let me start with Dr. Shukla, and then further we can move on the input side of it. So let's if you can, it comes into the engineering industry, which is also being linked to, or it has an effect on the ginning, outturn, linking it to the price, and then there will be a subsequent question on the trash and the stocks management over there, because it's being interlinked over there. So if you can just share your thoughts, what's practically in place and what's the next steps, like in the next 2 to 3, 4 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me opportunity. Yeah. So question is that how do we modernize our ginning factory to meet the cotton contamination level which world is meeting, as well as trace content below 2%, where we can meet the Kasturi cotton standard. Currently, Indian ginning factory is dealing with hand-picked cotton, that is coming along with hardly 2 to 3% trace content. And when the cotton bale is formed, it is mostly reaching in the range of 2.5 to 3% range, trace content range. So if we have to reduce it to below 2% level, we have to use 1 or 2 more post cleaner and pre-cleaner also. So that technology already Sircot has developed, and it has demonstrated in the ginning factory, as well as it is available at our ginning training center. So by using that, one thing we are telling that air jet cleaner, if it is used after the normal cylinder cleaner, it will reduce the trace content by another 0.5%. And if we can use 2 sets of pre-cleaners, one for cotton of one set for cotton having less trace content, and one for second and third picked cotton having slightly higher trace content. So if these two changes are made into the existing ginning factory, the trace content which is required for the Kasturi cotton can be met. And second thing which I would like to highlight here, the question which I was expecting, that how to process mechanically harvested cotton in ginning factory. Currently we are facing problem with the cotton which is coming from Australia, Brazil and USA, which is coming at cheaper rate, and that cotton is mostly machine harvested. And if we are processing cotton in the machine harvested cotton in our ginning factory, it requires to deal trace content 15 to 20% range. So for that we need to have totally upgrading system for pre-cleaning system as well as post-cleaning machinery system that requires additional around 5 crore rupees investment. I am always stressing upon that if we are focusing on machine harvesting cotton, we need to work on our modernization of ginning factories in a order that it can handle 15 to 20% trace content, and it is only possible if Government of India promotes through cotton technology mission and cotton productivity mission, then only we can process this cotton and reach to below 2% trace level. I think I have answered your question. Thank you.
Some work is going on, like, what's, if I can ask that, by when we are going to address this, because it's been talked for a long.
Okay, yeah, rightly asked, sir, that in 4 to 5 years down the line, how we can address these problems, sir. So, I'm just telling you that when this mechanization started in foreign countries, particularly USA, they filed first patent in 1890. And they started mechanically harvesting cotton in 1945. That means 55 years they took in adopting the mechanization of cotton harvesting. India, we started work in 2000, and initially we purchased one machine from John Deere, and we faced problem that we saw that North India our crop was 6 feet height, and Central India, particularly Akola crop was 2 and 2.5 feet height. So, but slowly we have achieved that high density planting system where crop heights had become amenable for mechanically harvesting. Only two challenges we are facing. One is the defoliation and another is the ginning. And what I am foreseeing that if we can get appropriate fund for mechanization of cotton harvesting in the technology mission of cotton, it can be addressed in 2 to 3 years duration. If appropriate fund is not given for this purpose, we have to wait for another 25 years to be launched for third phase of technology mission on cotton. That is my takeaway. Thank you.
Let me pick up on that point of mechanization and going back to Mr. Rajendran, who is the MD for Rasi Seed. Mr. Rajendran, you know that people have also spoken about that cotton picking is highly labor intensive. So how do you see what methods and modalities of kind of mechanization models would be applicable, because we have a smallholder farming practices in India, close to 7 to 8 million farmers. And besides mechanization, what these methods can be used in other value chain, taking benefit of mechanization and the innovation, and how you as a company or as seed companies are trying to address so that the mechanization, mechanical picking becomes more effective and address some of the changes which Dr. Shukla has just highlighted.
Good afternoon, everybody. World Cotton Day wishes to all of you. I am very happy to be here and take this mechanization topic, because we have been, Rasi as a leader in cotton seed business, we have been doing this for, trying this for last almost 7-8 years. And as Sirkat Director mentioned, in Akola, the crop condition is very amenable for mechanization, so we took it as a breeding. The mechanization, the major challenge is for the farmers with the picking. This is where visibly we see a lot of labor getting involved. So we, as a company, we have, the amenable crop condition in Akola helped us to initiate it, and we have started it. In the mechanization part, the major challenges came from the machines which were not available before. So a lot of trials were being done. Somebody was doing hand operated, somebody was doing robotic arms, and many things according to the Indian crop condition. But eventually we all thought that low production areas are the areas where we have to attempt to increase the production so that overall cotton productivity can be improved. So the lower productive areas like Akola, where the cotton is available and it is a rain-fed crop, so the mechanization was initiated, and the mechanical harvesters were deployed by two companies like John Deere and Shaktiman. These two companies they brought two-row pickers, which was definitely in our farming situation where two hectares is the average land holding. This was a worry for all of us, but these machines were available and it really helped. But the challenge is the cost. The machinery cost is so huge, which is almost a crore of rupee, which is really challenging for the farmers to buy on their own. So we have to evolve some kind of a collective model or any other model which is like probably we can involve FPOs or the ginners to promote like a sugar factory where the sugarcane harvesting is being done by harvesters being supported by the sugar factory. So some kind of model has to be evolved so that the mechanical harvesting can be promoted in a big way. Of course, being an industry player, on the input side, the seed can be produced to match the harvesting needs. That is possible. We are all preparing, all the industry seed industry is preparing towards it. So definitely mechanization is possible. Only support required is, as SEPCA director said, and senior colleagues will also talk about it. The government support and the textile industry support is required in bringing down the cost or support through subsidizing the machinery will help augmenting this mechanical harvesting. This is my point. Thank you.
I think that such kind of an effort can also really help when it comes to the cost of single harvester, which comes with more than 1 crore. Do you think such model will be helpful in terms of addressing the cost, in terms of accessibility to the farmers in a timely manner?
Yeah, definitely. Custom wiring centers can be of two models. One is government promoted, can also happen, like all other machineries that is being promoted through custom hiring centers. We can also motivate the FPOs to involve. If a subsidy component we are able to secure a subsidy component like sugarcane harvester, which I deeply studied and inquired, where the sugar factory, if it gives an authentication to the buyer of the machine, the government is supporting with a 40% subsidy for the sugarcane harvester. So similar model if we can bring in for the mechanical harvester of cotton, definitely this can be augmented and spread of machine will be much faster. Of course, the Shaktiman from India is exporting to Turkey. I have heard they are exporting from India the 2-row machines, which is already available in India. So it's only the cost that has to be brought down so that our farmer can afford to use that and our industry can benefit from it.
Digital space in our country is changing so fast, it's so dynamic that you can see almost something new coming out every year, including in the agriculture domain, including in the domains where we have direct interface with the farmers. Now, and it has evolved. So several years ago, the simpler models where crop advisories were being given to the farmers, or weather advisories were being given, or just expert advice in terms of what the farmer should spray when he has this disease or she has that insect pest, etc. That was the first level of intervention that happened. But of late, there are ag tech startups in this domain which have started using AI ML driven models using very high level data analytics, in which they can actually help the farmers in predicting what kind of a disease he or she can expect 2 weeks hence, or what kind of an insect pressure they can expect. And there are at least 2 startups that I personally know of, and I'm sure there would be some more. And obviously this requires a lot of effort. One of them, for example, has specifically trained their models and developed models for cotton crop, for predicting the incidence of white flies, for example, which is a very, very devastating pest in the north, which leads to that viral infestation, or for predicting the incidence of blight, the disease, or thrips, the insect pest. And they are already they have already started implementing it in cotton also. They are doing it in 1 or 2 other crops, but cotton is again a major crop of their focus, and they are doing it. Now the challenge there is how to reach the customer. I think reaching the farmer is probably the biggest challenge in something like this, because there has to be a much tighter interface between the technology developer or the model developer in this case and the farmer. And these ag startups are usually based in metros, and they have very limited capacity to actually reach the smallholder farmers who are remotely located. So I think working through FPOs, for example, is one very good option, because it would be easier for these startups to initiate the adoption through B2B kind of a model. So FPOs could be one option where they can have one single point of contact for a group of farmers there, or obviously there will be other models, but I think the biggest challenge is the farmers are ready. There is lot of digital penetration even at the farm level, and with younger farmers coming into farming, I think that has that is increasing even faster. So the farmers are ready, the digital infrastructure is in place, the technology is getting developed because we have several startups working on this. The key challenge, I think, is how can these solutions reach the farmers and be adopted by the farmers, and I think that is where some intermediaries, for example FPOs, will make a big difference.
This topic of why technology intervention is very much needed. Some statistics to tell you where we are, and the statistics are not very impressive. Some time back, I think this is a published document from the government of India, where they said they want to be a USD $100 billion in textile exports. Today I think we are at around USD 40 billion. Given that we have now another 4 years to grow, we have to grow at a 25% year on year to meet that ambition what we have set for ourselves. Now that is on the output side. If you look at the input side, the results are much more stark. On a CAGR basis, if you look at from the last decade, if I am taking 25-26 as this, the production, the area under production has gone down by 0.9%. The production has gone down by -1%, and the yield has dropped by -0.4%. Only the MSP has gone up by 7.7%. Now, if this is the state of affairs at this point of time, we have actually been reduced to a net importer. Than we were importing 15 lakh bales, I think. Now it has come to around 25 lakh bales. So these are some numbers for you to appreciate why the stagnation is there and why there is an important intervention which needs to be done in terms of technologies. Do we have technologies? I think yes. Companies on the input side have technologies. both multinational and as well as domestic seed companies. We all heard about the BT cotton success. I don't want to repeat, but emerging versions of BT cotton currently, I think there is an STBT which is pending approval, which solves the problem of weeds, and then of course the Bolgar 3 and other versions. While that is one part of it, you also have gene editing now which has actually emerged. It is much more precise. It will, it is not about putting a new gene, but it is about editing. So a combination of BT plus gene editing will actually solve most of these problems in improving productivity and reducing the drudgery to the farmers in terms of growing the cotton, as well as meeting some of the ambitious targets. And there are in fact now technologies where you can do spraying and things like that. So there are multiple technologies on this. So that is point number one, BT plus, the gene editing technologies. The second one is this whole HDPS. I think my colleagues have spoken about it. A wonderful, agronomy intervention. Obviously, one is also working on the breeding side to develop plants which are short stature and all. So these are suitable for shallow to medium soils. And I think that is the second intervention. And I think to my right is Dr. Prasad, who has taken a lot of interventions around that. So I think the government of India is promoting, the industry is also responding. And the third one, which we normally do in breeding processes, is speed breeding technologies plus, genomic selection. This will actually reduce, the cycle time of getting newer seeds into the market. Probably you can crash timelines by 2 to 3 years. So in a very brief, I think, Rajvi, these are the three things which are there for the industry. And all of that, the private sector as well as probably in collaboration with the public sector is ready for deployment. Enabling environment, technology, approvals are actually the need of the hour. Yeah, that's it. A lot about sustainability, traceability and all of that. In fact, there were a few papers which were published about how the whole biotech is actually, improving the sustainability of the cotton farming. I mean, to just tell you what does a biotechnology intervention did in India, largely it is about reducing the sprays, maybe 25 to 30% reduction in the sprays. That was the first one which is there. And we have many more things, we can use pheromone traps, integrated pest management, balancing, the soil conditions and also I think biotech intervention will complement the sustainability by obviously the one more of the obvious reasons is the reduction of the sprays and reducing the drudgery, but more importantly also through the integrated pest management, pheromone traps, and there are trichodermas. There are multiple other things which the farmers can do along with planting a biotech crop. So overall, I think it will actually address sustainability contrary to the expectations, and it will improve the way cotton is grown.
Thanks, Venkat. Just go.
I also join all the panelists in wishing you the World Cotton Day. Greetings to all of you. Of course, carbon farming is going to be beneficial to the farmer first. If you are able to, majorly we should focus on soil health. That is the crux. Because resilience, climate resilience or yield increases, productivity increases will come through how we improve our soils. Because when we compare with other countries where we have assured rainfall or irrigation and deeper soils, and then they practice this sustainable practices like, for example, crop rotations, cover cropping, which are really difficult to adopt in, say, in small farms. There the soil carbon levels, soil stocks, the organic matter content is very high. But when it compares to tropical areas like in India, where the soil carbon status, soil organic matter itself is very low. And building them and sustaining them over a period of years. Because it takes about minimum 6 years to build the soil organic matter. And then the results start coming. Till that time, how do we really convince the farmers to practice these vis-a-vis productivity? So the first priority of the farmer is to enhance his productivity so that his profitability increases. But there is a catch. Unless we improve the soil health, especially the rain-fed tracts of India, where majority 67% of cotton area is in rain-fed tracts, and where soil organic carbon is very low, how do we build the stocks and bring in climate resilience? So that is from a farmer's perspective. carbon positive farm. The second part is about sustainability certifications. Again, these are again demand driven. Unless demand is there for these, the value chain is there, and there is an incentive for the farmer to practice, and whatever he produces through adopting the sustainable practices, unless it reaches the market, there is a chain of events that have to be taken care of, and that is how actually big brands, especially, for example, now about 7 million tons of identity cottons are produced annually. That is about 29% of the total world cotton production of 24 to 25 million tons is identity program. Cotton, specialty cotton, that is produced according to ICAC. Of course, PCI is here, that is a major share. 69% of all identity cotton programs fall under the brand of PCI related MyBMP or APR cotton from Brazil, Australia. All these are PCI related equivalents. And they are sharing, they demand the major share is there with them. But other, for example, cotton made in Africa or US Cotton Trust Protocol, some other brands are there where actually their share is about 3 to 7%. Now India has about the Kasturi cotton brand, Bharat. Now how do we really link it to the farms? There was a question in the first session also, how do we link it to the farms and how do we bring about traceability, transparency and sustainability certification, because standards have to be there and these have to be local standards which are aligned to the global standards. How do we do that? And our farmers' number is so high, our record keeping is so low, and it's all about social, environmental, economic parameters. For example, my MBA program involves about 400 parameters that have to be measured, reported and verified. How do we do that? In a country like, in a small farm oriented country like ours, and where bookkeeping is very low, how do we do that? And what is the incentive to the farmer to do that? So this is a very serious question. Of course, it's in another 5-6 years, most of the cotton that will be sourced will be ethical sourcing and then certified sourcing. We need to shift it, otherwise we will lose the competitiveness.
Thank you, Rajiv. I think it's a very interesting point. We have come to almost at the end of this particular session. Are we interested to increase farmers' income? My opinion after working with the farmers is that we are not interested to increase farmers' productivity at all. The way we are producing our policies, they are for whom? The moment we feel that our production or the farmers are going to get optimum MSP, we try to remove the duty and import cotton. Are we doing this in the interest of farmers? Because there are 3 kinds of stakeholders in cotton. One is farmer, the second is the industry in between, and third is the consumer. In majority of the cases I have seen that our policies have been more sort of inclined towards consumer or maybe towards industry. This is my first analysis. Take for example the policy which we have. I have a simple example. You know what is the estimate of cotton, which I think Dr. Prasad very rightly said. There are 2 estimates of cotton produced by the same government of India. One is by Ministry of Agriculture and another is Ministry of Textiles. We cannot even do one estimate for this particular crop. I am surprised. When I was commissioner, I tried to do the job, but they said, no, let it go like that only. So what for? This is again, I appear to be the policy politics, and that's why it is retained. Now you come down to, for example, technology, which I think Mr. Rajiv said. We have introduced BT cotton in 2002. After a long struggle, we came down. And you see what is the curve of our production. We reached we were ranging between 300 kg lead per hectare cotton before BT cotton. And at the end of 2012, 2014, we were producing 600 kg lead per hectare cotton. Once we exported 90 lakh bales cotton from this country. Now, 2006 onwards, we are seeing a very total downward trend. Why? Scientists were actually already educating, they were informing that look here, BT cotton alone is not a panacea. You have to boost technology further. And there was simply the blind eye. We did not. 2006 was our last attempt to bring double gene BT cotton. And after that, we stopped. We said we don't want. And why do we, when we have not, first thing is, we should not have accepted BT cotton at all. That is a good fight. But once we accepted it, then we accept all those new technologies which are related to gene or to genetic technologies. Like for example, 2014, we wanted that there should be BG3. What has happened? Government said, no, we will not allow, our all applications are pending. Even the government of India did not permit even the trials to be conducted on GM. Perfectly okay. I am happy. Because now there is a conflict between state government and central government. Sometimes the central agreed, okay, you can conduct the trial. State said, no, we will not conduct it. What is this policy? GM policy is under the control of Government of India. Any new technology. Agriculture is a state subject, that's a different deal. But there are lots of overlapping things. Can we not sort out some of those things in a very simple manner? I am afraid they are deliberately not done it, not to improve productivity. That is my concern. Now what is happening is, there is an excellent, I think somebody in the morning said about herbicides. The major problem, 40% of the cost of production of cotton is on labor. And that labor goes for weeding of cotton in old dryland system and also in the wetland system. 40%, I think Prasad is here, he has already published some of those papers. What is the cost of production of cotton? Where maximum goes? Everybody says that seed is a costly business. Least cost is on seed. It is only something like 9%. 5%. And you take labor 40 to 45%. Today it is not even available because we are giving them lot of free wheat and rice and everything. So that's a different issue, social problems. But that has caused another problem that labor in the field is not available. Then what next? We have either a mechanization system for removing weeds at a cheaper rate. We have ultimately what is happening that we have not permitted the what is called as HTBT cotton. HTBT cotton is basically a cotton where we spray herbicide where it will kill all the weed, only the cotton plant will survive. That application has been pending for I think more than 7-8 years with the government. It is not permitted because there are some issues. Okay. But then what is happening? There are a lot of illegal things which are coming in this country. Today, for the last 6 years, I have written a paper also on this. Last 6 years in my own state, Maharashtra, where I am monitoring cotton, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, part of Gujarat, 25, this year is the record. 35% of the cotton area is sold under illegal cotton. We do not know. There is no receipt given to the farmer. If the cotton, that's why cotton fails, they cannot complain. Because it's not a standard seed company. It is all brought illegally from many states like Gujarat, Telangana, where there is a production going on. Freely production going on. What we do in Maharashtra, we try to take some farmers to jail because they have sold HTBT cotton. But nobody bothers where there is a soul going on. And what is happening is, all standard seed companies who have invested so much on biotechnological research, which has given boost to cotton yield, now they stopped working because there is no new investment which is coming. And unless we invest in technology, it will not come. Again, recollect the first talk by Terry Townsend. Very clearly, you talk of Brazil, Argentina, America, China, Australia. Top countries where it is only technology. And which technology? I think 70% of the technologies originate from seed. And they are the ones which are actually causing the good yield. So we have to really think in these terms that our policies should be very clear on cotton. One thing is that cotton is a commercial crop. When we talk of rubber, when we talk of coffee, when we talk of tea, cotton is also one of the most important commercial crop and cannot be handled by so many other agencies. Today we have plethora of seeds coming in the market. So many seed companies are producing. They have no standing. There is no research background. There is no facilities available. But they produce seed for 1 or 2 talukas, earn about 1 crore rupees and fine. This is what is going on. We have been telling government that this has to be stopped. Cotton is a very important crop where we cannot sow a long duration cotton in a dry land situation. I think Dr. Prasad has when we talk about HDPS, we need something which has short duration and under dry land situation. 63% of the cotton grown in this country is under rainfed situation. So naturally, we will have to have generate technologies which are essentially for those rainfed situations. So these are some of those very important things. Now he has also raised one very important point regarding the soil amelioration. Cotton needs very specific kinds of nutrition which has been lost over a period of time. There are also policy issues involved. Now there are large number of products, bioproducts, which can really boost the uptake of nitrogen, phosphorus and other elements, even micro elements. We are not permitting them. We said you go for trials. Our regulations are such that we always look into negativity, where instead of that we should think of positivity, and unless we improve that, I don't think we'll be able to get. And by the time the technology comes, as he has very rightly said, by the time we think now of HTBT, actually it is already outdated. So new technologies are coming. Now we are talking about genome. Everybody has said genome editing. We have already lot of say drum beating made when we released 2 rice varieties under using the gene editing technology. What is the ultimate result of that? Do you know those varieties are permitted in this country yet? There is a lobby which says that we don't want that. Already there is a lobby which says that no, we will not permit that. They may be very good, but we don't want that. So basically I think if you decide, we want to decide that you would like to be poor, then there is no question of making you rich unnecessarily. I think this is my philosophy about behind all these things. So there are some deliberate attempts in the entire policy system where we don't want farmers to produce more yield. Do we don't want farmers? We will say that we want double their income. Perfectly okay. But we will never allow them to have their double their income, because then they become a force. They become educated and they become a problem in their entire system. So, as our leader Sharan Joshi used to say, that we have absolute zero freedom of using technology in this country.